Good morning. This is Kathleen Clow with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Today's fire potential headlines include continued widespread mixed and wet thunderstorms lasting through midweek, which will bring a lightning risk but also increased cloud cover and higher relative humidities across the region. Despite precipitation potential, temperatures will remain hot, with breezy and dry conditions returning to the western edge of the Great Basin on Thursday. A fuel and fire behavior advisory remains in effect for eastern Nevada, much of Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Basin-wide, we expect some higher IA during the beginning of this system due to lightning potential across the basin, but less large fire potential due to expected precipitation. Fuel moistures will continue to stay dry across the northern half of the basin, but improve across the southern half. Putting that to a map, today we expect widespread mixed and wet storms, which will bring a risk for lightning and increased IA due to underlying fuel conditions. Despite storm potential, we will still see those very hot conditions, but also increased RH values and overnight recoveries from rain and cloud cover, which will decrease the overall large fire potential from any lightning starts. By Wednesday, storm potential will exit western Nevada and Idaho as the system continues to push east, bringing higher precip totals to southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. This system will be followed by a warming and drying pattern, which will begin to impact the western side of the Great Basin on Wednesday, with breezy and dry conditions expected across the Sierra Front and western Nevada on Thursday. Over the past 24 hours, we received some widespread precipitation across western Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip, with some areas receiving wetting rain of up to 2/10 of an inch of rain across portions of Utah, including the Cottonwood Fire, with higher totals across the Sierra Front. With that rain, we received lightning across the southern half of the basin, some of which was on the drier side, leading to some IA. Over the past 24 hours, the Great Basin had 25 new starts for a total of 277 acres and a large fire growth of 8,804 acres. Satellite this morning shows widespread cloudy conditions, and you can see that storm activity across Nevada and Utah, with a few stray lightning strikes across Nevada. The areas of heaviest smoke impacts for today and tomorrow continue to include northern Utah and southeastern Idaho from the Suki Fire in Utah. Additionally, smoke from neighboring Colorado fires will continue to drift west and impact portions of Utah. Smoke from ongoing Oregon fires will drift north and east, causing light impacts across central Idaho. Forecast fire danger conditions include high ERC values across much of the basin, above the 97th percentile for portions of northern Utah, eastern Idaho, and western Wyoming, but now below the 97th percentile across Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. ERC values have stabilized across the northern half of the basin and will slowly start to trend down due to lower temps, higher RH, and precipitation potential. Across the southern half of the basin, you can see in that lower chart there, we expect ERC values to plummet due to expected higher amounts of precipitation from that monsoonal moisture coming in. You can see, however, in the next 3 days, western Nevada ERC values will begin to climb again as they start to dry out on Wednesday following recent precipitation. As this current storm system moves east across the basin, we expect to see a lightning impact and drier storms on the leading edge of the system, followed by mixed and wet storms. For today, we've issued high-risk triggers for lightning across a large portion of the basin, from southwest Idaho to northern Utah, with lightning impacts shifting to far eastern Idaho and western Wyoming on Wednesday. That lightning risk will be followed by a shift to low or little or no risk due to expected precipitation from the system, and you can see that green area expand in the south where we expect that monsoonal moisture. Our main wind concerns over the next 3 days are from gusty storm outflows, which you can see in those darker colors across the map. Relative humidities will be higher today across the basin due to expected precipitation and increased cloud cover, but still in the teens across portions of eastern Idaho and Utah. Those values will continue to improve across the areas we expect rain over the next few days, which will also bring improved overnight recoveries, especially over Utah and the Arizona Strip. RH values across western Nevada and Idaho will start to fall again on Wednesday as a drying pattern returns following the system, and you can see those areas are back in the teens on Thursday. Over the next 3 days, you can see we expect widespread precipitation across the Great Basin, with the heaviest precipitation expected across the Arizona Strip and Utah. Despite this expected precip, we will still see hot temperatures, including some triple-digit values across Utah and the Arizona Strip. As that warming and drying pattern returns to the western half of the basin on Wednesday, you can see we expect some triple-digit temperatures across that area on Thursday as things heat up. Putting those 3 daily images together, here you can see our total rainfall for the next 3 days, where some parts of southern Utah can expect up to 1.75 inches of rain, with most areas receiving at least a quarter inch. And we do currently have a flash flood watch out for portions of eastern Nevada as well. In the long term, we'll still see continued storm and precipitation potential through the weekend, and you can see that in the upper air charts in the black and green. You can also see that drier air mass hovering over the western edge of the Great Basin Friday through Sunday, which will bring continued warming and drying across that area. On Friday, moderate risk will expand to include southwestern Idaho and persist across western Nevada, expanding slightly further east on Sunday. Wind-wise, we don't have too many concerns in the long term. Some locally breezy areas in the yellow and green, and you can see evidence of those storm outflows in those isolated pinks and oranges Friday through Sunday. We'll possibly see some higher winds across southern Idaho starting Saturday, which will expand in coverage and strength to include portions of northern Utah on Sunday. You can see those lower RH values in the teens across the western portion of the Great Basin, but continued higher RH values across the eastern half of the area due to continued precipitation and storm potential. Here you can see that continued precip and storm potential Friday through the weekend, with our higher precip totals expected across areas of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. Despite this rain and storm potential, we will still see those hot temperatures across the basin, remaining in the high 90s with triple digits across lower elevations of western Nevada and Idaho, as well as eastern Utah and the Vegas and Arizona strips. Putting all 7 days of rain together, here you can see our total rainfall for the next week, where the higher elevations of Utah and the Arizona Strip can expect up to 2.5 to 3 inches of rain, with larger portions of Utah receiving at least a half inch to 3/4 of an inch. So overall, some really widespread rain coverage across much of the Great Basin over the next 7 days. To recap our 7-day fire potential, today we'll see that lightning risk across portions of the northern half of the Great Basin, moving into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming on Wednesday, followed by areas of lower risk or little or no risk due to expected precipitation. And then you'll start to see that drying pattern start to take effect on Thursday, where things start to go brown in western Nevada, and that will persist through Monday, July 20th as well. Our 6 to 10-day outlook shows the chance for those above normal temperatures across all of Great Basin, especially across western Idaho there in that darker red area. And you can see for our precipitation outlook, we are above normal and in that darker green bullseye for all of the basin, so we'll expect to see some higher precip totals maybe in the next 6 to 10 days. That concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.